Hey, welcome everybody. This is Fear of Failure and Imposter Syndrome. I designed this to help new business owners that are transitioning from their 9 to 5 into the online entrepreneurial journey. Get over these things of failure, imposter syndrome, these things that come up mindset-wise that are kind of hard to tackle. So this is the part of my course that I designed, but I'm just going to show you guys and upload this on YouTube. So we're going to talk about fear. Fear is the number one reason why most people never start a business or quit too soon. Whether it's fear of failure, fear of judgment, or feeling like an imposter, these mental barriers can keep you stuck in overthinking instead of taking action. The truth, every entrepreneur feels fear. The difference between those who succeed and those who quit is how they manage it. So in this chapter, well, we're not going to go through the whole thing because it's like 20 minutes. I'm going to make this quick. It's like a streamlined version. How to reframe failure, overcome self-doubt, develop confidence. So fear never holds you back again. Now, that's very optimistic. We're going to be challenged by fear many times throughout our lives, aren't we? We want to reframe it as growth, though. That's what's key, is having that growth mindset. You may have heard that before. But what does that mean, Spencer? How do I have a growth mindset? It's basically just seeing things as like tests and like seeing how it works. We'll see what happens instead of, oh man, what if I fail and I'm terrible and I suck and my mother was right and I'm never going to amount to anything and my father told me I wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, and all these things can come up, right? All these fun ideas of who we think we are. But if we can reframe failure as growth and say like, okay, well, I failed. Now I know what to fix. Now I can move forward. Once it's fixed, I move on to the next thing. So I'm actually moving forward. I'm growing. Failure is actually a good thing. It's necessary. It's required if you want to do something great. I have experienced this myself, and many other people do as well. So these are the lessons that I came up with to really hone in on overcoming fear of failure and imposter syndrome, because it shows up everywhere, not just when you're trying to start a business, but also when you're shooting your shot with your crush, or you have a big presentation with your corporate 9 to 5 job, whatever it is, right? Public speaking, right? Being prepared and not looking like an idiot. Those are, I think, I forget the statistics on that, but I can look it up again. It's like people, I'm looking right now. People are more afraid of speaking publicly than they are of dying. More afraid of public speaking than dying. Glossophobia, that's what it's called. Anyway, that's typically lack of preparedness, a lack of putting yourself out there or doing the reps beforehand. A lot of times we want to test these things out into the reps so we can understand what we need to fix and move forward. I'm not going to beat you over the head with this idea, but this is my course. We're not going to go through it like a course. We're going to go through it like a YouTube video. Any hoot. Reframing failure as growth. So this first part, we're going to talk about failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. Like I was just saying before, it is required, honestly. If you're afraid to fail, you'll hesitate to take action and miss out on opportunities to grow. This has been true for me and anybody who has ever done anything great. I'm sure it's been true for you guys as well. Imagine like riding a bike or swimming or learning how to drive, or even when you're a baby, learning how to walk. You're seeing everybody else do it, so you know it's like possible. So you weren't going to write yourself off when you fell down when you're learning how to walk. You didn't even really think about it. Like failure wasn't even a thing. It's like we learned later on in life what failure is and us being judged. So then we play small and like, oh crap, I don't want to look like an idiot, but really you just end up being small instead of expanding and doing great things and growing. So we don't want to allow that to rule our lives. We want to reframe it as growth. And we don't want to hesitate to take action, because then we'll miss out. So that's another fear. We can use that as leverage to get our asses moving. So why fear of failure is a business killer. That's the first part. Second part is the science of failure, how the brain learns from mistakes. Part 3 is learning to take smart risks. Very scary at first, but we learn as we go. We get better as we go. First part. So this is why fear of failure is a business killer. The biggest reason people stay stuck is that they avoid failure instead of embracing it. For example, a new coach hesitates to sell their offer because they fear rejection. So they never test their pricing or improve their pitch. Meanwhile, another coach launches imperfectly, learns from feedback, and gets better. And this was, I forget what book it was, but they did this experiment in a high school in a photography class. They split the class into two groups. One group, their entire objective for the whole semester was basically to produce as many photos as possible, to take a bunch of basically amount of photos to get the best photo. And then the other half of the class was to take the one perfect picture. So they had to spend all their time preparing and getting ready and taking the one perfect picture. So they were focused on specifically on quality, and the other group was focused on quantity. And it was interesting because at the end of it, the ones who weren't focused on producing the best picture, just to produce as many as they can, they actually at the end of the semester produced the best photo, the best picture. The people who spent all their time preparing for it did not. And the reason for that is because of iteration. If you're not testing things out and putting it out there, getting feedback, setting up that feedback loop, then you have nothing to iterate. You don't really know what to iterate. You don't know what to tweak and fix and make better. So all these little small tweaks over a long period of time is what creates a really great product at the end of it, as opposed to not in trying to do all this stuff beforehand on the back end before you produce the thing. So accepting that failure is a part of the process. It's like you don't even really, doesn't even appear to be failure anymore. It's just a step. It's just what's required to produce something good. Every successful entrepreneur has failed multiple times, including me. I'm now a business coach. Before I was like a men's coach trying to guide men. Before that, I was mindset coach, consistency coach. I was trying all these different things and they weren't working. Even though I could solve for all these different problems, I didn't know how to wrap my business around it. And this is why market research is so important, that we align with it as well. Otherwise, we're just creating a job for ourselves. And that's not really a solution to our problem. We want to be aligned with our like ikigai, which is that Japanese concept of just basically being aligned with what you love, what you're skilled at, what you get paid for, and what you feel like the world needs. It helps you get out of bed and go do the thing, even though you don't feel like doing it sometimes. You have a higher calling to go do it. So you're setting yourself up for success. By going through that, you got to test it out. You got to see what works and see what doesn't. So do not be disheartened when you fail. See failure as data, not a personal judgment of your worth. Set a goal to fail more often. The faster you fail, the faster you improve. Setting up that feedback loop, making iterations, making tweaks, you will grow so much quicker. The science of failure, how the brain learns from mistakes. Your brain learns faster through mistakes than through success. If you never fail, you're not challenging yourself enough. Let that one sink in. Yeah, the most growth is in discomfort, and it's uncomfortable to do new challenging things because we're not really apt and able and good at them. We have to fire new specific neurons in our brain. That's the science behind it, to adapt and become better at processing the new information so that we can execute the task more properly, which essentially is adaptation in terms of evolutionary biology. And we need that info, we need that feedback to be able to learn. So failure gives us the info, it gives us the feedback to learn and become better. And therefore, it's a great opportunity. Embrace failure. For example, Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Each failure taught him what didn't work. Feedback. He got over 1,000 different forms of feedback. And through the process of elimination, like, oh, well, that doesn't work. Okay, let's try this. Okay, well, that didn't work. Let's try this. Over and over and over again. And he got really good at knowing how not to do the light bulb, to where eventually he's going to land on it. He's going to succeed. You really cannot fail. Ultimately, funny to use that word, but you cannot fail if you have so many iterations under your belt, because you're going to be so proficient with that task and knowing the different variables. Instead of avoiding failure, analyze what went wrong and adjust. These are the steps. We're breaking it down now. Use the 3F rule: fail, fix, forward. Fail, fix the issue, and move forward. Track your failures as learning milestones. The more you track, the faster you grow. Now that's a real interesting reframing of, like, when you fail, you celebrate it and succeed. Like, oh, cool, yes, I failed. I got more information. sounds silly, but really it's required. Not the celebration part, but failing towards success. So if you get a piece of information, I'm one step closer to succeeding. Learning to take smart risks. Fear of failure keeps people in their comfort zone, but calculated risk lead to massive opportunities. So I guess I'll just share a little bit right now. I'm running paid ads to my free school group to nurture my audience, and give them a ton of value up front. If they want to work with me one-on-one and go into my paid stuff, they have that option. But I'm just giving them a place to not only have access to me and my content, but also other people who are building their businesses. And it's the calculated risk here is that I've never run ads before, so I'm not really sure if people are going to click on it and like it, and it's going to grab their attention because there's a lot of science and behind marketing and things like that. And I'm new to it, so it's really uncomfortable, and I'm paying money into it, and I'm not sure what the return's going to be. But I made sure to set up tracking, and it's a smart risk that I'm taking, that I'm putting this money up front, even though I may not see the ROI immediately and get the instant gratification. I'm going to see that on the back end later on because I can, and the front end, because I can use that information to iterate my message and see what people like and what they don't like within my market. And I can change my strategy or my phrasing and the language that I use and the images that I use to get people's attention, to get them to the next step in my funnel or my process, which is ultimately designed to solve their problem. Now, there's a lot that goes into that, but main idea here is I'm spending money into these ads, putting it out in the market, testing, and upfronting that capital or that money to then make money later on, because I'm going to get better and I'm going to make more interesting, better ads because of all this stuff. So you could call that a calculated risk. It's definitely out of my comfort zone. I've never done it before. I'm not sure if my ads are good or not. I'm not sure if they're the right images or I'm using the right ad copy. And I don't really fear the failure anymore, though. It's like, okay, well, this is necessary. I need this information. I need to know what's going on. That's my example of what's going on right now. A content creator hesitates to start a YouTube channel out of fear, but another creator posts imperfectly, improves over time, and gains thousands of subscribers. That's me as well, posting on YouTube. Branding yourself, doing free content marketing, putting yourself out there, spending time to film the thing, script it and then edit it and then put it out. And maybe you don't get any subscribers, or maybe you don't get any likes or something like that. That's good feedback. It's telling you, okay, well, I need to change something here. Maybe it's my hook. Maybe it's my story or the meat in the center of my video. Maybe it's my call to action at the end. Depending on the information, you can look at the YouTube analytics and you can see, well, what's the watch time? How long do people watch this thing? Okay, well, they all drop off after 3 seconds. Let me make the 3 seconds more juicy and more of a hook so I can get their attention. So then they watch the entire video. And I'm not trying to trick anybody. I just want them to digest my content. If they have this problem and I have a solution, I need to help them get to the solution, right? Because then both people shake hands at the end of it and say, thank you. It's good business. And that's what we're aiming for here. So stop aiming for zero risk. Growth requires uncertainty. Easier said than done. We can grow into this. There's going to be some risk. Got to get more comfortable with risk, which is uncomfortable growth. Take small, low-risk experiments. Launch a beta offer. Test content ideas. This is a good way to enter in, to dip your toe into the water. You can just dive in. But if you want to grow into it slowly, it's less stressful on your nervous system. Take small, low-risk experiments. I am doing a beta offer right now with 5 clients testing my offer that I developed. This, actually, what you're looking at is a part of my offer, which is my course. And this helps the mindset to keep people in the game mentally as they're building out their business, because they're taking risks. And I'm encouraging them and helping them along with those risks. Testing content ideas, seeing what resonates, what doesn't with their audience. And that is smart. It's smart to do that, because before you build out an entire thing and then present it to the market, you want to make sure it actually works and it's good to go. And this is less stressful to do that. It's more easier on your nervous system. Develop a fail fast, learn fast mindset. Fail small, learn quickly, and then adjust. Do tests. So if you're feeling like you want some more help on this, this is everything about fear of failure. That's the end of it, these 3 parts to my lesson. If you want more help on this, let me know, reach out, comment, and hopefully steer you in the right direction. If you go to school.com/consistency, I have a free group there that takes you through basically from your idea into packaging and offer. And that's all free. There will be other people in that group that are also doing the same as you, so you can learn from them and ask questions wherever you get stuck, or if you maybe want to help somebody out on their journey. I'm also having live calls on there, free Q&As, to walk people through that as well. So you can not only learn from other people's questions that I answer, but you can also ask your own for your own specific personalized situation. So that's, once again, it's school.com/consistency. Just sign up. It's free. Takes like 5 minutes. Once you get in there, follow the welcome to the group post, and we'll get you squared away and we'll get you moving along.